back to another episode of Pretty Suited Podcast. It's your girl, Lauren A. And we have a lot to talk about. So your girl just had a birthday, Aqua Gang, okay? And I did go on vacation. I did go to Bahamas. I got a little tan, as you can see, and I enjoyed myself so much. You know, a little thing about me, if you know, I don't really post much stuff on my Instagram. You know, a lot of things I try to keep private because I'm a private person. You know, I mean, I have a Low Lens Media, my company, where I do a lot of photography and videography for others, but for my personal life, I really like to keep it private. So for my birthday, a lot of the videos that I have is really just of me and my family. I really didn't take many videos for, you know, to post because I really just wanted to spend time with my family. So I really enjoyed it. It was great. I was just taking it all in. The weather was beautiful. The people were beautiful. The water was beautiful. And so now as I'm coming back and kind of, you know, simmering down, I'm understanding that I ate a lot on that boat. You know, I was on a cruise. So on the cruises, you eat a lot because there's food all the time, everywhere. There's drinks all the time, everywhere. So you really are consuming more than you normally would at home because you're not eating, you know, 4 or 5 times a day, and you're not drinking that much throughout the day at home. So right now I'm just trying to detox and get all that stuff out so that I'm not, you know, feeling the ramifications of it later. So that's just kind of where I'm at. You know, also trying to find time to unpack my bag because, you know, I'm one of the ones that bag is going to sit there for at least a day or two before I unpack it. And that's just what it is. I don't know what it is about me. When I come back from vacations, the bags don't get unpacked, you know, right away. They just don't. And so I'm going to be doing that, you know, and just getting back into the groove of things. I really want to thank everybody for the birthday wishes. I want to thank everybody for the kind notes and the presents. I really do appreciate that. So just thank you guys. You know, I appreciate the love, you know. So I want to get into this first topic. This guy by the name of Tim Ross, he has a podcast on YouTube, and I've seen his videos, you know, floating around Instagram as well. And it's called The Basement with Tim Ross. And, you know, he's a faith-based guy. So most of his points, his talking points in his conversation does have like a Christian faith undertone. But he made some really good points in his clip because this conversation can be applied to both work as well as, you know, romantic relationships. So check this out.
It's cheaper for an employer to train the employee they already have than it is to fire that employee and then go through the hiring process to get another person. Because what it takes to go look for that person, onboard that person, train them up to the place of the person that you just fired, you're spending thousands of dollars to do that, right? Here's what I know about my relationship with Juliet. You got me completely twisted if you think I'm about to throw 23 years down the drain and learn somebody new. You got me completely twisted. I ain't learning nobody new. You understand me? I know so much about Juliet at this point. I'm not learning nobody new. You couldn't pay me to try to get used to somebody and try to learn you. Which is why so many people can't handle the 4 seasons of a relationship. Because right when it's time to get to that relational equity and get deep, you scram it because you just want to keep it surface. And the only way to keep it surface is to keep going, applying for a new job.
I had the privilege of working in occupational health at some point in my career, which is also kind of a part of human resources. And I got a chance to kind of understand how much goes into hiring and terminating an employee, particularly the hiring of the employee, the onboarding process. And it's so much time, energy, and money that goes into onboarding. Like literally from the, you know, hiring parts. If it's a high level job, you may have 2, 3, 4 interviews, unfortunately, because I think that's ridiculous, to have 2, 3 in-person interviews, because one of them needs to be remote. Let's just say one of them needs to be a Skype. Like, I understand maybe having 2 interviews, but at least one of them needs to be a Skype. And then the other one, you can meet everybody there, but I digress. In the interviews, You have a few of those, right? And then once you actually get the job, then you have to go into the process of the onboarding. So now you have to meet with the HR rep. You have to do all the paperwork. Then you have to, go over the benefits, and then you have to sign them up for the benefits. And if they have a matching, then you're matching it with that employee. Then you have, set up the retirement fund. Then you have the, company-wide orientation where they have to learn, where everything is, who they have to call, all this stuff. Then you have a department orientation where you have specific information about where you're going to be working and who to contact and all this. So all that is strenuous. It takes a lot of time and it takes thousands of dollars. It would behoove, let me just talk to my business owners real quick. It'll behoove you guys to put energy and effort into establishing the employees that you already have. I know, you don't have the time and all that good stuff like that, but you may end up paying for it in the long run if you don't. So if you keep having the turnover rate to be quite high, everybody is leaving, everybody's firing, you're firing them, or they, voluntarily leaving over and over again, then you got to find people, because don't forget, sometimes it takes months or to years in order for a position to even be filled. So you're spending all this time trying to get a new employee into that seat, and then hopefully they're a good one. You know what I'm saying? And rather than you actually taking the time out to develop the staff that you already have. I don't care if you have 2 or 3 employees. This matters across the board because you need to be able to cultivate your team, spend time with them, figure out, hey, we have this tuition reimbursement program. Did you apply for it yet? You've been here a year. Do you want to sit down and let's go over it? Or, hey, I see you like computers. I know you work in sales, but do you want to go into this computer program? That way you can jump into IT or something in maybe a year. Whatever the case may be, it's called training and development. Don't just have the programs there and don't have the wherewithal to apply it to your employees, because if not, the employee is going to feel underutilized. I know I have. How many times have you been on a job and you felt like they weren't using your skills? Several. You know what I'm saying? So, when you have something like that going on, you end up leaving, unfortunately, because you're like, hey, I have all these skill sets and they're not being used. Well, if the employers took the time out to actually utilize your skill sets and figure out more about how to train and develop that employee, they will save so much money in the long run by doing that. So that's just a tidbit information, and I thought that was very relevant for the video because, he's saying I'd rather keep the employee that I have, develop them, train them, than go out and get another one. And as you can see, he flipped that into a conversation about romance and relationships and his relationship with his wife, where he says, hey, I know this person. Like, I'm not going to go out in my 30s, late 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s and try to tame a new dog or teach a dog a new trick. I'm not trying to do that. Like, I already know this person. So I'd rather kind of work things out with them than go off and find something else that I may or may not like. And I mean, while that sounds, understandable, I'm not going to hold you. Don't be settling for me. Okay. Now, if it's something that it's like very small and we can work through and it makes sense and we don't need to throw the baby out with the bathwater type thing, then I get it. But if we are really talking about you are no longer compatible with this person and y'all are really not having a marriage anymore, let me go. Don't be trying to, settle for me just for the sake of you not wanting to learn anybody else. That's just lazy. I'm sorry. But I think that it makes the most sense to figure out what can actually be worked out and what can't. Because if it can be worked out, then by all means work it out. But if it can't, then please don't settle for me just for the sake of, because who I end up with, I want that person to be there because they want to be there, not because they're too lazy to go out and build a relationship with somebody else. Because that's just trifling. Okay. So I just wanted to point that part out, but I understand completely what he's saying and how I really enjoyed that video because it really could be applied to both scenarios. If you're an employer, dig into your, not dig into your employee. I mean, take on that manager or leadership role and really figure out who your employee is like and what it is that they like, and spend time on trying to keep them there versus you saying, look, you can be replaced, and then you have to replace them, because that's not an easy thing to do. I mean, you can get somebody to fill the spot, but what's all gonna come with it? You know what I'm saying? So I got a question for y'all. How many times I got a question for my women out there. How many times have you gotten to know a person, they cute, you guys talked on the phone for hours and hours and hours, and you guys cannot wait to meet each other. You guys cannot wait to spend time with each other, and you setting up the first date, right? And he leans over, or he's on the phone saying, well, why don't you just come over here? I got bottles. I got, we could watch a movie, and we can chill. How many times have you heard that? Well, I'm going to play this clip for you, and you tell me what you think after the clip.
It gives a man that always wants to invite you over. It just gives rape to me. I'm sorry.
Oh my God.
I don't care.
It gives predator vibes.
It does. It's not a good feeling, and it's nasty.
And then you know
so
what
please
else?
stop.
What is worse
that's
is
what I'm
whenever
saying.
you have a setup. Oh, I got the hookah.
Oh my
I
God.
got the Casamigos.
Let's take shots.
I'm gonna order food in. Shut up.
Okay, Harvey Weinstein.
So I agree and disagree with what she just said. Now, I know that, look, I'm going to just say off rip, I am not an advocate for someone to go to anybody's house on the first date. Point blank, period. It's just not safe. It's just not cool. And I just think that it's important for, women to put themselves in a position where they don't have to be compromised, especially if you don't know that person. Now, I'm talking about the first date, right? So yeah, you may have been talking on the phone with them, but if it's your first time meeting with them in person and you really haven't gotten a feel of them yet, their vibes, their personal aura, right? Their personal energy, then it's really not the best situation to be going over to their house. Every woman is thinking you probably got a whole dungeon in there and you trying to go in there and you trying to chop me up. That's the first thing that I'm thinking about. You know what I'm saying? But I think that even as guys should be okay, I don't want to make it creepy, so let me not invite her for the first date. Of course, people don't do that, but that should be what you're thinking. You don't want to make people feel uncomfortable, right? So, however, I'm not going to sit up here and lie and say that I've never done it before. Now, if we're talking about my early 20s, right? A time where I'm in college, I'm playing spades just for some noodles. You know what I'm saying? Money's a little tight. You waiting on your refund check. Something is just different, right? Your pockets ain't that fat yet, right? It's not that uncommon for the first date to maybe be, let's just hang out and, watch a movie. I've done it before. It's not that serious. However, as you grow older and your circumstances changes, your money and finance changes, and your morals and your standards change, there is no way you're going to sit up here with a straight face and tell me as a grown person, as a grown man, that you want me to come to your house with us meeting for the first time and you just want to chill. No, come on now. That's usually an indication of let's just have a good time. That's just what it is. You coming over to anybody's house for the first time meeting each other, your guys are just trying to have a good time. That's just what it is. You know what I'm saying? So you have to use your judgment, use your discernment. If you really want to get to know someone, you really want to get to know them, going into their house the first night is probably not a good way to do that. Now, I'm not saying date 3, 4, 5. That person might hire a cook or cook for you, and it would turn into a romantic thing. That's a different conversation. We talking about a different conversation. But if we just talking about going over and Netflix and chilling on a first date with some Hennessy, that ain't, no, not at my grown ass age. No, we're not doing that. So I think that you just have to, put things into perspective. Now, if you say that you never are hanging out, at each other's houses or getting to know each other on an intimate level, then that's not appropriate either. Because at some point, you're going to have to develop a deeper relationship with that person. And the conversations that you need to be having, it may not be the best time or place to do that in public settings. It's just not. Like, I know there's several conversations I've had with guys where, I'm really getting to know them. They're telling me, innermost thoughts and things like that. If we're doing that at a Bulls game, that's not, that's weird. Or if we're doing that at a restaurant, that's still weird. Like, you have to be able to get into places and moments with each other where it's just your guys are just talking. There's no sex involved, and your guys are literally just conversing. You're literally just telling each other things, like you're getting to know them in intimate moments and sharing experiences. And you can't always do that if you're always going out. Now, again, this is date 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Like, it's later on down the line where you're starting to really develop the intimacy, not sex, but intimacy. But for you to just say that date 1 and 2, you over the house and you're grown, that just doesn't make sense to me. But I think that just use your discernment. But I thought that was a funny clip because I feel like a lot of women, they get into the whole materialistic part about dating and they don't really know how to really build a relationship, just like Tim Ross said. And what happens is, like he said, newer ways of dating doesn't really promote you getting to know each other for real. You know what I'm saying? Because what happens is you are so afraid to build that relationship with a person that your interactions with each other is very superficial. And if they're superficial, you're more likely to want to just throw something away at the first argument because you don't really have those years and that experience and those experiences with that person. You can just have a shallow, you could be talking to somebody for 5 months, 6 months, and y'all really don't even really get to know each other, but y'all may have gone on a few dates and have sex with each other, but you really don't know them. So the first argument or first disagreement, you're like ready to throw it away. And that's not really cool because you're never going to get to the 20, 30, 40, 50 year marriage mark if y'all guys never develop anything worthwhile. And so I agree with him. Like, when you're dealing with somebody for decades, when you're dealing with somebody for 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years, like, that's not something that comes lightly. That's time, energy, effort, all those things that you're building into somebody. Like, that's not something to be taken lightly. And so, you want to be able to say, hey, if we're going to leave each other, if we're going to part ways, it has to be for a real reason. You know what I'm saying? Because I want to build more into it. I've put time, effort, and energy into this relationship. So I get what he's saying, but I also get the other side where it's just like, don't settle for me because you're just too lazy to find something else. So let's get into our watch list of the week. So I told y'all a couple episodes ago that I love a Tubi movie. Tubi, I'm mad, y'all. I'm mad. Tubi is starting to get notoriety. Everybody is talking about it on Instagram about how Tubi has a continuity problem, like legit. And most of the movies that's played on Tubi, as we said, it's like mostly low budget movies. It'll be a guy holding a microwave in one scene, then he holding a crock pot in another scene that's supposed to be the same scene. Like, it's literally like, dude, where is the person that's supposed to keep up with the continuity? Because it's not working. The lady will have a blonde wig in one scene, and then she'll have a black wig in another scene. It's like, did she switch wigs? I thought we was in the same scene. Like, that's just been a thing. So, but I love it. I'm just, so I really lately have also been getting into not only bootleg movies, but I've been getting into foreign films. So like foreign movies and foreign TV shows. So like on Netflix, I just saw a TV show called How to Ruin Christmas. And let me tell you, this series is absolutely hilarious. It's actually a South African series, and it's actually about a woman who is going to her sister's wedding. Her sister is a beautiful one, and she's marrying into money. The people on that side of the family, they don't like her family because they don't have any money, and she's just ruining everything. And it's hilarious. The first season's about the wedding. The second season is about a funeral, and then the third season is about them having a child. But in each season, there's some stuff that's always going wrong, and the families are just constantly at each other's head. But it is hilarious. You know, the people are beautiful. The outfits are gorgeous. The homes are gorgeous. And I just love learning about different cultures. Like, I really just value just getting to know, like, what are their jokes? Is it similar? You know, and I also like hearing the accents. Although I do speak English, of course, I do like when the show has, like, English speaking people, but they throw in their native language in between. So you're kind of like getting the 2 for 1, like, with subtitles, of course. So I really enjoy, you know, kind of seeing different films from different places and seeing how, you know, the comedy or seeing the drama and things like that. So check it out. It's called How to Ruin Christmas. It's 3 seasons. And, you know, as you know, with the African movies, they're, you know, they are full of life. They are very rambunctious. They're very dramatic, and it is absolutely funny. So check it out. It's on Netflix. And so for our tune of the week, this week is about something I saw on Shade Room. And I understand Shade Room they can either show you some real, you know, inspiring things or some real ratchet things. But what I did enjoy, since it is February and it is Black History Month, they did showcase 10 Black country artists that I thought that was absolutely wonderful. Like, I feel like, you know, a lot of times Black people don't get put into the country and rock conversations, although we started it. You know, with the Chuck Berry and the Little Richard, like, we don't get into these conversations because over time we have been kind of weeded out of those categories and those genres and kind of just pushed into hip hop and R&B. And it's just not the case. We literally have influence in every single genre. And the way, you know, since they showcased it on Instagram, I think that everybody's kind of opening their eyes to, you know, our place in country music. And I'm gonna tell you, when I was flipping through all of those slides, I loved every last single one of those songs. Like, legit. I went to Apple Music and I downloaded every last single one of those songs too. Made my own playlist and everything. So since then, I have been listening to this song by Kane Brown and Caitlin Brown, which I believe they are husband and wife. And let me tell you, this is a song called Thank God. It is so gorgeous. Like, I promise you that this song is going to be at my wedding. I guarantee you. Like, it's so beautiful. The song is very, you know, melodic, and they are singing to each other, and they're in the forest with the Jeep and the waterfall, and they look gorgeous. And it's basically a song about how I know I have my flaws. I know that, you know, everything is not all rainbow and sunshine all the time, but thank God that I found you. Thank God that we have each other. And it's just such a sweet song. And I'm just gonna, you know, dig into their catalog a little bit more and all those other artists and really just kind of get to my country bag. Like, seriously. And I suggest you guys do the same. It's really good music. One thing about me, I don't care what it is. I don't care what kind of music it is. If it's good music, I'm going to listen to it. Like, in my personal playlist, I have rock, country, pop, emo, bluegrass, classical. It don't matter. Like, if I like it, I'm going to listen to it. And so I think we should all broaden our horizons and kind of really dig into other music, like, genres, and it's just see what you like. It's not always just about hip hop and R&B or just one specific genre. Although, you know, the most popular is hip hop and R&B, I think it's important for us to just find out what else we like. So yeah. Check that out. It is called Thank God. It's on all streaming platforms. So that brings us to the end of our episode. Thank you for tuning in. I will ask you guys to like, share, and subscribe. Tell a friend. Continue to chat it up in the comment section, and we'll just continue the conversation. So until next time, bye.